Joseph the Dreamer.
There was a young boy named Joseph. He lived in the land of Canaan with his father Jacob and his 11 brothers. Joseph was different. He was kind, smart, and had a big heart. His father loved him very much, even more than his other brothers, and gave him a special coat with many beautiful colors. Joseph wore it proudly, but his brothers became jealous and angry. The Dreamer. One night, Joseph had a strange dream. "We were tying bundles of grain in the field," he told his brothers, "and your bundles bowed down to mine." Another night, he dreamed that the sun, moon, and stars were bowing to him. His brothers didn't like this. "Do you think you'll rule over us?" they said. They hated him even more. The big betrayal. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers. But when they saw him coming, they said, "Let's get rid of the Dreamer." They grabbed him, tore off his colorful coat, and threw him into a deep pit. Then, instead of hurting him, they sold him to traders going to Egypt. They dipped his coat in goat's blood and showed it to their father, making Jacob believe Joseph was dead. Jacob cried for many days, from slave to leader. In Egypt, Joseph worked in the house of Potiphar, a rich man. But trouble came again. Joseph was falsely blamed for something he didn't do and was thrown into prison. Even in jail, Joseph was kind and wise. He helped others, including 2 men who had strange dreams. With God's help, Joseph explained their dreams, and they came true. One man went back to work for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Joseph meets Pharaoh. 2 years later, Pharaoh had 2 scary dreams. 7 fat cows were eaten by 7 skinny cows, and 7 good grains were eaten by bad ones. No one knew what it meant. Then the man from prison remembered Joseph. Pharaoh sent for him. Joseph said, "God is telling you what will happen. There will be 7 good years, then 7 years of hunger. You must store food now." Pharaoh was amazed. He made Joseph the second most powerful man in all Egypt. Joseph's brothers come to Egypt. The famine began and people came from everywhere to buy food, even Joseph's brothers. They didn't recognize Joseph, but he knew who they were. He tested them to see if they had changed. At last, Joseph couldn't hold back his tears. He cried, "I am Joseph, your brother." The brothers were shocked and afraid, but Joseph said, "Don't be scared. You meant to hurt me, but God used it for good." The family is together again. Joseph invited his father Jacob and all his brothers and their families to live in Egypt. They came and were given the best land. Jacob was so happy to see his son alive again. He lived many more years before passing away peacefully. Joseph lived to be 110 years old, and he never stopped believing in God's plan. What we can learn from Joseph. God has a plan for your life. Forgive others, even when it's hard. Be faithful, kind, and do your best. God sees you.